celebration, everyone, especially to our coach, Coach Jude Martinez. So let me first introduce myself to you. I am FATIMA TARANG from Study Hub number 4. And for today, I and my co-discussants will tackle about factors affecting adolescent development. There are 6 factors, and these are the physical development, cognitive development, language development, social development, emotional development, and moral development. Before we discuss about it, let us first know what is adolescent development. Adolescent development is the period of transition between childhood and adulthood. Children entering adolescence are going through many changes in their bodies and brains. These include physical, intellectual, psychological, and social changes, as well as development of their moral compass. However, adolescence is also viewed as a stage in one's life when there are plenty of opportunities for personal growth. It is important to discuss puberty and sexual development, as well as physical appearance and body image under physical development. Moral development and learning disabilities are integral parts of cognitive development. Emotional development is comprised of the individual's self-identity, emotional intelligence, and group differences such as gender differences and ethnic diversity. Social development can be explained by talking about peer and family relationships, school, work, and community. Subtopics such as adolescent risk-taking like alcohol and drug abuse, pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease, school failure and dropping out, delinquency, crime, and violence, and protective factors and resilience must be cited under behavioral development. The developmental tasks of adolescence development have 4, and these are independence, body image, peer relations, and identity. And there are 3 stages of adolescence, which include early adolescence, 10 to 13 years old, middle adolescence, 14 to 17 years old, and the late adolescence or young adulthood, 18 to 21 years and beyond. My other group mates will discuss the 6 factors with us, and let me call first Miss Justine KIETH SAMLIMBOT to begin the discussion about the 6 factors of adolescent development.
A pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to you, Coach J. I am Justine SAMLIMBOT from BSED-ENGLISH 1T. And for today, I will discuss about the physical and cognitive development in adolescents. So first of all, what is physical development? Physical development refers to the advancements and refinements of motor skills, or in other words, children's abilities to use and control their bodies. Physical development is one of the many domains of infant and toddler development. So these are the physical development in adolescents. Physical growth in height. Height of girls will be maximum between the age 16 to 17. By the age of 13, the adolescent triples his birth length. Males gains 10 to 30 cm in height. Females gains less height than males as they gain 5 to 20 cm. Growth in height ceases at 16 or 17 years in females and 18 to 20 in males. The physical growth in weight. Growth spurt begins earlier in girls 10 to 14 years, while it is 12 to 16 in boys. Males gain 7 to 30 kg, while female gains 7 to 25 kg. Trunk broadens. Digestive, circulatory, and responding system fully develops. Body tissues, skeleton starts growing. Tissues other than bones continue to develop. So, let's move on to appearance of sex secondary characteristics. Secondary sex characteristics in girls: increase in transverse diameter of the pelvis, development of the breasts, change in the vaginal secretions, endocrine system, temporary imbalance of the entire endocrine system in early adolescence, and sex grounds become functional. Secondary sex characteristics in boys: increase in size of genitalia, swelling of the breast, growth of pubic, axillary, facial, and chest hair, change in voice, rapid growth of shoulder breadth, production of spermatozoa, which is sign of puberty. Although some of the physical changes that happen during adolescence are internal and not visible, others can be seen easily by others. These obvious changes in the body can affect how adults and peers of both sexes view and treat young people. And now let's proceed to the cognitive development. So, what is cognitive development? Cognitive development refers to the changes in the brain that prepare people to think and learn. Just as in early childhood, brains in adolescence undergo a lot growth and development. These changes will reinforce adolescents' abilities to make and carry out decisions that will help them thrive now and in the future. The following are characteristics of cognitive intellectual development. Develop ability to think abstractly, but many still think in literal terms. Develop critical thinking skills and become more self-aware, self-critical. Exhibit increased communication skills. Becomes more argumentative and demonstrate an intense need to be right. Develop decision-making skills and wants a voice in their choices. So now we will proceed to the another topic, the language development and social development, which will be discussed by Sharifamay Antonio.
Good day everyone, especially to you coach. My name is SHARIFAMAE Antonio from BSED-ENGLISH 1T, and for today's video I'm going to tackle about the language and social development. So what is language development? Language development starts with sounds and gestures, then words and sentences. You can support language development by talking a lot with your child, and responding when your child communicates. Reading books and sharing stories is good for language development. Language development supports the ability of your child to communicate and express and understand feelings. It also supports your child's thinking ability and helps them develop and maintain relationships. And also, language development lays the foundations for the reading and writing skills in children as they enter and progress through school. So in the early stage of language development, the brain is programmed to attend to speech sounds and begin to mimic them. Early on, babies like to make sounds up on their own. Later, they attempt to repeat sound and words they are exposed from their environment. So the most important factors in the language development is the age of the learner. It plays an important role in their ability to develop mastery of a new language, and the earlier a child can begin learning a new language, the more quickly and completely they will develop mastery in speech, reading, and writing. So the third phase of language development, also known as the holoprastic stage, is the most important stage for the language development. It usually happens between the ages of 9 and 18 months. During this time, their language skills usually have increased enough for them to say single words, then describe objects, or identify their basic needs. So in referential language development, children first speak single words and then join words together, first into two-word sentences and then into three-word sentences. In expressive language development, children first speak in long and intelligible babbles that mimic the cadence and rhythm of adult speech. So now let's go on to the next topic, which is the social development. So what is social development? This development influences a child's self-confidence, empathy, the ability to develop meaningful and lasting friendships and partnerships, and a sense of importance and value of those around him or her. So the main factors of social development is the level of people's educations, intensity of their aspirations and energies, quality of their attitudes and values, skills, informations, all affect the extent and pace of development. So these factors come into play whether it is the development of the individual, family, community, nations, or the whole world. Social development is about improving the well-being of every individual in societies so they can reach their full potential. The success of society is linked to the well-being of each and every citizens. So for example, as their social circles expand, adolescents spend less time with their families and may focus more on their peers. Young people also develop a greater capacity to form a stronger relationship with adults outside of their families who may function as a mentor. So social development is very important in education because studies shows that social competence helps a child gain more than academic competence. Children who are socially competent are better adjusted and able to accept diversity, change, and new forms of learning. So how are language development and social development related? So it is further hypothesized that a strong development in social skills lead to strong development in language skills, as well as a strong development in language skills leads to strong development in social skills. So that's all. Again, I am Sharifamae Antonio from BSED-English, and let's go now to the next topic, which is reported by Ms. NURWIENA ASJARI.
Good day everyone, especially to you coach. So in this video, I'm going to tackle about the emotional development and moral development. Before I start, let me introduce first myself. I am NURWIENA ASJARI and I'm from BSED-English 1P. So now I'm going to discuss emotional development. So emotional development refers to the ability to recognize, express, and manage feelings at the different stages of life, and to have empathy for the feelings of others. So the development of these emotions, which include both side and negative emotions, is largely affected by relationship with parents, siblings, and peers. Infants between the ages of 6 and 10 weeks begin to show emotion with a social smile accompanied with action and sounds that represents pleasure. So the social smile develops in response to caregivers' smile and interactions. Around 3 to 4 months, infants begin to laugh, which demonstrates that they can recognize inherently in action that deviate from the norm. Laughter fosters reciprocal interaction with others, which promotes social development. For 6 to 12 months, infants can begin to express emotion such as fear, disgust, anger, and sadness, which indicate caregivers that they are expressing discomfort or displeasure and need attention. So infants will respond to their emotion to the degree that their caregiver respond and then learn from their emotional facial cues. So during a child's second year, toddlers begin expressing shame, embarrassment, and pride, which are learned emotions based on their culture as they acquire language and learn to verbalize their feelings. So they can express their emotion of affection, distress, pain, the ability to recognize and label emotion and then control emotional expression in ways that are consistent with cultural expectation is called emotional regulation. Children learn to self-regulate their emotion to be able to cope with difficult situations. Unusually by age 2, children also begin to acquire to the complex emotional response of empathy by reading others' emotional cues and understanding their perspective. So by the age of 3, children begin to understand society's rules regarding the appropriate expression of emotion. They are taught by caregivers that expression of anger and aggression are to be controlled in the presence of adults. But they are less likely to surprise negative emotional behavior around their peers. So this difference is the result of differing consequences of their behavior with adults or with peers. Children acquire the ability to alter their emotional expression by age 4, and they can display external expression that do not match their internal feelings, such as thanking a giver when the gift is not really liked. So this ability requires complex skills of understanding the needs to alter their expression and realizing the perception of another and knowing that their expression does not need to match their actual feelings. And having the motivation and control to mask their true feelings convincingly. A wider variety of self-regulation skills is displayed by children ages 7 to 11. So factors that influence their emotion management decision include the type of emotion experience as well as the relationship. So age and gender of the person involved, children develop as a set of expectation of the outcomes they will receive from different people. Parents might handle some emotion better than peers who might belittle or tease them. So, their self-esteem is influenced by how they feel others view them. If their performance does not match their personality aspiration, they are likely to feel inferior and inadequate. So, conditions that threaten to expose their inadequacies can cause anxiety. So, if children believe in themselves and their abilities, they can have a stable, positive self-concept about themselves. During play, children increase their emotion maturity and social competence by interacting with other children. And play helps children practice their communication skills as they negotiate rules and appreciate others' feeling. And they learn to share, wait their turn, and handle conflict with playing with others. Play also allows children to express and cope with their feelings through pretend play, which allows them to think out loud about their experiences and feelings. So that's all for emotional development. So now let's move on to moral development. So, moral development is the process through which children develop proper attitude and behavior toward other people in society based on social and cultural norms, rules, and laws. So, moral development is a concern for every parent. Teaching a child to distinguish right from wrong and how to behave. Moral development is a concern for every parent. Teaching a child to distinguish right from wrong and to behave accordingly is a goal of parenting. So moral development is a complex issue that since the beginning of human civilization that been a topic of discussion among some of the world's most distinguished. So psychologists, theologians, and cultural theorists, it was not studied scientifically until the late 1950s. So Jean Piaget, as Swiss psychologist, explored how children develop moral reasoning, and he rejected the idea that children learn and internalize the rules and morals of society by being given the rules and forced to adhere to them. Through his research on how children form their judgments about moral behavior, he recognized that children learn morality best by having to deal with others in group. He reasoned that there was a process which children comfort of society's norms of what is right and wrong. So, and what the process was active rather than passive. Piaget found two main differences in children about moral behavior. Very young children thinking is based on how action affected them or what the result of an action were. For example, young children will say that when trying to reach a forbidden cookie jar, breaking 10 cups is worse than breaking one. So they also recognize the sanctity of rules. For example, they understand that they cannot make up new rules to a game. So they have to play by what the rules books say or what is commonly known to be the rules. And Piaget called this moral realism with objective responsibility. It explained why young children are concerned with outcomes rather than intention. Older children look at the motivation behind actions rather than consequences of action. And they also able to examine rules determining whether they are fair or not. And apply these rules and their modification to situation requiring negotiation and assuring that everyone affected by the rules is treated fairly. And Piaget felt that the best moral learning came from this cooperative decision-making and problem-solving events. He also believed that children develop moral reasoning quickly and at an early age. And that's all. Once again, I am NURWIENA ASJARI and I'm from BSED-English 1T and a member of Study Hub number 4.